Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Okay, we'll do 2 minutes kirtan and then we can start. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देव गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
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 Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Krishna Hare
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 Ram
Hare
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 हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare
Krishna
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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare
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 हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare
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 Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram Hare
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 हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Prabhupada,
Prabhupada,
Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर भक्तवृंद की जय, गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणं रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान गौरभगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिकाकांता राधा कांता नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रेम वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। Okay, so we will be covering um, the seventh verse today. Um, so short verse. Uh, okay. Mm, So this is the last verse that deals with um, subtle impediments in our path to progress. And this is the last quality that we will discuss today, and it is the most deeply rooted. Um, we discussed gross impediment, um, then we discussed subtle impediment, six anarthas, and they were compared to highway robbers: lust, anger, envy, greed, pride, ego. Um, in the first one, we discussed Prajalpa, worship of Lakshmi Narayan, mundane talks to a prostitute. Then second one compared to highway robbers, they um, when we act on those platforms, um, they take away um, mm, our devotion. They hijack us, um, and then we saw the lust, anger, envy, greed, pride um, call out to devotees when we are attacked by um, um, envy or ego or pride. Call out to devotees and take their help. And then last week we saw a subtler impediment, a more difficult and a more deeper impediment, which was deceit or cheating propensity, where we are trying to go back to Godhead, yet at the same time we are cheating ourselves by cultivating material desires. And sometimes we can identify the deceit in us, and sometimes we can't even identify because it is so deeply rooted. Like when anger comes, lust comes, ego comes. Ego is still subtle, not ego. Anger comes, lust comes, pride comes. It's much more easier to identify them. Even subtle to identify them is deceit, and deceit is compared to bathing in donkey urine. Um, um, and we saw how to overcome them is very dedicatedly and sincerely worshipping the divine couple in Braja. And this is the fourth verse. There are total four verses on impediments. Three we covered. This is the fourth verse. Verse number 8 goes deeper. That is how to go once these anathas are removed. Um, some more instructions on how to go deeper into the science of devotion. Those will be remaining verses. We may cover probably couple of them in a week. The remaining verses and two more sessions before we end ManahShiksha, probably. Um, this verse contains a subtle impediment which is deepest among all that we have discussed, and it is by this impediment all other impediment arises. Uh, mm, and it is most difficult to identify. Sometimes we are able to identify, and many times we are not able to identify this impediment because it is so deeply rooted. Um, um, okay, so this impediment is called desire to be respected, uh, desire to be honored, um, mm, yeah, pratishtha asha, and then um, drishta. Drishta means it is compared to uh, unchaste. Drishta. Drishta means unchaste. Swapaka. If you remember Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, um, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Kavi Hastini Suni Chaiva Swapakecha Pandita Samadarshina. Swapakecha. And a dog eater. Swapaki, a dog eater. So um, um, Ramani is a woman. So Swapaka Ramani is a, a dog eating woman. Um, and where does she reside? She resides in the heart. And what does she do? Natate. Natate is dance. Dance. So this unchaste dog-eating woman is dancing in our heart, and this is compared to desire for fame. And as you can say, see in a picture, there is a dog lying on a table. So she's a dog-eating woman. She's unchaste. She's a prostitute, and she dances. Um, as long as she has captured our heart, the other two ladies who represents pure love for Krishna cannot enter, because she keeps on dancing in our heart and occupies our heart space. So um, okay, so it means as long as the unchaste dog eating woman is dancing in our unchaste dog eating woman of desire for prestige and fame and honor, um, is dancing in our heart. Katham, um, katha means how can, katho, how can, um, sadhu prema is love of Godhead, or pure lady who represents love of Godhead, um, um, the internal potency of love of Godhead, sadhu prema. How can sadhu prema sprishati, sparsh, sparsh means to touch, sparsh, uh, ehi samsparsha cha bhoga, dukha yonana evate, adi antavanta kauntaya nateshu ramate bola. Ehi samsparsha cha bhoga, that enjoyment which arise from contact of the senses with the sense objects. By that contact, dukkha is produced. So that same sparsh. So when this lady is dancing in our heart, how can pure love of Godhead touch, sparshati, suchi, um, etan nanu manaha, oh my dear mind, etan in the heart, um, clean and pure love of Godhead, how can it appear? As long as our heart is, simple words, as long as our heart is filled with desire for fame and honor, how can even a shadow of love of Godhead enter our heart? Basically, what to do? What to do if there is a intense desire to be honored, um, to be respected? What to do? So solution is similar to solution in verse number 5. Similar, but in a deeper way. Sada, this Sada word comes in almost every verse of ManahShiksha, always. Tvam sevasya, sevaswa means service, service. Tad sada tam sevaswa prabhu, um, daita samantam atulam. Atulam means incomparable. तुलना करना, तुलम, तुलम, और तुलना करना is to compare. Atulam means incomparable. Incomparable um, refers to pure, incomparable. Incomparable Prabhu, devotee. Daita, who is Daita Samanta means who have developed love of God or a pure devotee, incomparable devotee of the Lord. So Sada Tvam Sevaswa means always render service to um, incomparable um, um, devotee of the Lord. Or it is more specifically Samantam means commander of Krishna's army. It is described as like that. In other words, pure devotee of the Lord. Always render service to pure devotees of the Lord. Yatha, uh, then, then what will happen? Saha. Saha means he. He means that devotee or Vaishnavas. Then those devotees, um, tam nishkasya. Um, tam means remove, um, throw out. Tam niskasya means niskasya is referring to the first lady. Um, so unchaste, prostitute, dog-eating, dancing woman um, will be thrown out. Who will throw? Sa, he will throw. That devotee, when we always are rendering service to um, a commander of incomparable commander of Krishna's army, then he will throw that unchaste woman. How long will it take to throw? Tvaritam. Tvaritam means immediately. He will immediately throw that woman who is demanding fame from our heart. And ihatam. Tam means and bring in. Veshayati is the second woman who represents pure love of Godhead. In other words, as long as our heart is filled with um, um, dog eating pratishtha, filled with pratishtha like dog eating unchaste woman dancing in our heart, always eager to be respected and to be honored, always burning with that desire. And as long as we are always working in a direction of what will maintain my honor, I will do it, and what will hamper my prestige and my honor, I will not do it. As long as that woman is constantly guiding us, um, um, mm, guiding us, how can the woman of pure love of Godhead even touch our heart? Therefore, always render service to devotee of Lord Krishna, incomparable or Vaishnavas, because devotion, by rendering devotional service to the devotees, we develop humility. So, therefore, please render service to um, devotees of Lord Krishna, um, and by that service, by them being pleased, they will immediately throw out this unchaste dog eating dancing woman and will invite um, pure love of Godhead and will fill our heart with pure love of Godhead. Okay, someone can read this?
As, as 7. As long as the unchaste, dog-eating woman of desire for prestige dances in my heart, how can the chaste and pure lady of love for Krishna touch it? Therefore, O mind, you should always serve the incomparable beloved devotee, commander of Krishna's army, who will come, who will immediately throw out the unchaste woman and establish the pure lady of love in the heart.
Mhm. Okay, okay, okay. This is something by Bhakti Vinod Thakur, in the song that he writes for this particular verse, where he is mentioning that this prostitute woman is never alone. She is accompanied by her lover. Let's read this.
Okay, Babu. Who accompany this unchaste woman? Listen, O mind, to these secret words. As long as my audacious desire for fame is in the form of fallen, low-class, dog-eating woman shall remain within my heart. Her paramour deceit will not stop holding sway over my mind. To cast away that dog-eater, hold on to the feet of the beloved devotee of Lord very carefully and render a lot of service.
Mm. Her paramour is deceit. Deceit. In other words, Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions that even if we follow the previous instruction and sincerely worship the Supreme Lord and are able to remove and not act on deceit, as long as we have a desire for honor, this woman will bring her paramour within us again and again. In other words, we can never become free from deceit. Deceit means cheating ourselves. We can never become free from deceit as long as this woman resides in our heart. Hmm. Therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is telling, hold on to the feet of the beloved devotees of the Lord very carefully and render a lot of service. So please render service with all humility to the devotees of the Lord. Who can cast away this woman? Once this woman goes out, the paramour is out automatically. So it is really the desire for honor um, which keeps us entangled and which is very, very subtle. It is described that most of the activities, this desire for honor is in the center, and it is so subtle that we cannot identify it. Cannot identify it. Okay, let's read this.
Drashta Swapakaramani Pratishtha. The desire for prestige is an unchaste dog-eating woman. It is not easy to uproot Pratishtha asa or desire for honor. It nourishes and generates the other forms of deceit. This desire for honor is the root of all other anarthas. But since it is never able to recognize its own fault, it is shameless. Fame is like dog flesh, and one eager for such fame is called Drashta Swapaka Ramani, a dog eating promis- promiscuous woman.
Hmm.
Promiscuous.
So as you see in the picture, the desire for honor is the root of the plant of deceit and pretentiousness. So there is a desire for honor, and you see this tree has so many faces. These are covering our true self. Um, these are this is deceit. And last week was entire discussion on this topic, deceit. Um, Next week, next slide, there is something more on deceit, so we can connect back. Um, so it nourishes and generates all other form of deceit. This pratishtha, asha, desire for fame and honor, um, it nourishes and generates all other forms of deceits. And this desire for honor is the root of all other anarthas also. Desire for honor. Um, for example, when, for example, um, a person who is trying to be a very sincere devotee whether in a grahast ashram or in a brahmacharya ashram or in a renounced ashram, if he desires um, sense gratification, um, but externally he shows himself as very sincere Pakka Vaishnav, chanting 16 rounds or more, reading with the only goal as back to Godhead, may have even dedicated their lives, um, but internally desiring sense gratification in the form of desiring wealth, woman, or fame, um, but externally acting as um, very sincere devotee, then that's a symptom of deceit. Deceit means we are cheating ourselves. We are showing off as I don't want anything other than Krishna, but internally I am cultivating desire for sense gratification. I want something more than Krishna. This is deceit, and it is this desire, unfulfilled, this material desire, when unfulfilled, um, give rise to anger. And the material desire itself is lusty desires, um, either subtle lust or gross lust. These are lusty desires. And when unfulfilled, give rise to um, anger. And when these material desires are fulfilled, gives rise to pride, and puffs up the ego. Um, mm, and when we want more and more of these material desires, um, gives rise to greed. Greed means not satisfied with current material position and situation and desiring something more and more, sense enjoyment, give rise to greed. So they're all interconnected. And that's why it says this Pratishtha Asha um, nourishes and generates other form of deceit. Now, Pratishtha gives rise to deceit. Desire for honor makes us cheat others, cheat others. Like, um, like in front of others, we want to eat simple food, and internally we want to eat whatever we want to eat. We are trying to cheat others. Why? Because we want others to respect us. Um, or when we are chanting the holy name, we are chanting like Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. And the moment somebody sees us, I have seen, we will be like Hare Krishna, Krishna. We try to show off that I am chanting very sincerely, uh, but that is not my true state. Same thing with the kirtan also. When people are watching us, we tend to be, we tend to show off who we are not, kind of. That is deceit. That is cheating ourselves, um, um, trying to be what we are not. This all deceit arise from faith, and this deceit results in material desires, and that is lusty desires, anger, greed, pride. Um, and when others have more material desires than I have, others have fulfilled more material desires than I have, envy. Others can enjoy something that I cannot enjoy, envy all them. So they're all interconnected. That's why this remains at the root, this Pratishtha Asha. From there comes a tree of deceit, and from deceit comes, and um, together comes root cause of all other anarthas. So really, this is the root of all anarthas: is desire for honor. And that's why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us this third verse of Srishtamashtakam, something which can uproot all the anarthas and help us taste the holy name. Chinadapi Sunichena, Taroriva Sahishnama, Amanina Manadina, Kirtaniya Sadahari. So, although this desire is very strong, Mahaprabhu wants us to string this verse around our neck, is taking a humble position in front of Vaishnavas and serving the Vaishnavas. Even though we may want um, uh, other things, um, artificially or by force doing that, um, serving the Vaishnavas and acting on a principle of Trinada Pisunichena will help us to overcome this. If we overcome this, all the anarthas will be overcome. Naturally, they will go away. And Kirtaniya Sadahari. And then we can chant the holy name sincerely. Okay, let's read this.
A Swanishta sadhaka wants to become re-owned as religious, benevolent, and sinless. A Pranishta sadhaka hopes to be known as a devotee of Vishnu, as a knower of spiritual subject matters, and as detached. And a Nirapeksha sadhaka wants to be known as spotless and renounced, as a master of the conclusions of Shastra, and as having a perfect understanding of devotion.
Hmm. So this is something that we discussed last week, these terms, but I will repeat as a refresher if you don't remember these terms. Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions this deceit occurs in three different kinds of devotees in different ways. There is a different way, renounced order, renunciate, exhibit deceit. They are called Nirapeksha. Then there are two kind of grahasthas. One grahasthas who are serving full time, dedicating their life. Another grahasthas are those who are acting according to Varna and Ashram, um, and sincerely practicing Krishna consciousness, making Krishna as the goal of their life. So two kinds of grahasthas and Nirapeksha or renounce order, um, three kinds of devotees, and they all exhibit deceit in their own ways. Like Swanishtha devotees are those who only want Krishna, um, very sincere grahasthas. They decided to move to temple and serve full time in a temple. They do all kind of menial services day and night and engage in Krishna's service. And over a period of time, they develop a desire that they want to be seen as very sincere souls. They want to be seen as guiding many other grihasthas in the congregation or certain spiritual leaders. They want to be seen as sinless, sinless, who don't engage in any wrong activity. They want to be seen as very generous, who is willing to help and accommodate anyone. So they want to act in such a way, and inside their motive is they want to be seen as spiritual leaders, generous and sinless. And that's how they exhibit fame. They exhibit fame. And then they engage in Krishna service. They may be doing kirtan, they may be giving classes also. They may be taking care of so many other grahastha devotees, but internally they have other desires, um, to be seen as very sincere, stable, advanced, generous, pure Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. Um, and that is arising because they want to be honored. They want to be honored. That's why they want to be seen as being generous. They want to be honored. That's why they want to be seen as sinless. Now, if 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 somebody because out of honor, when they have such desires, when these desires are unfulfilled, it will make them angry, and everything else will follow. Um, if they want to be sinless and they have that desire, and um, um, if somebody points finger onto them for something wrong that has been witnessed about them, they will not be able to take it because um, they are cultivating that desire that I want to be honored as somebody very pure and sinless. We don't see even that kind of desire in the gopis of Vrindavan who apparently rejected the society, their husbands, and ran in the mid of a night. Married women with kids running in the mid of a night alone in the forests to meet Krishna. Um, they didn't care about how they are seen or how much they are disrespected or criticized, or maybe thrown stones over them, how they will be treated. They didn't care about them, and only purpose was to please Krishna. So that's a stage when one is dedicated fully to Krishna. Um, but it may seem like, yeah, I want to be respected so that I can preach. I want to be generous because so that I can set a good example. I want to be sinless um, because I don't want to engage in any wrong activities because otherwise it will hamper my spiritual life. So it gets mixed. The desire for fame and it is pure Krishna consciousness. It gets so mixed up together that we won't be able to realize are these desire of mine is because I am desiring fame, or is it really pure devotional service? And they themselves may not be able to realize them, and that is why it is so subtle. In fact, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentions about the weeds. As you grow in bhakti, the weeds will grow because you are watering the bhakti lata through Shravanam and Kirtanam. The weeds will grow, and these are the weeds described: kapata, 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 deceit, pratishtha. These are the two main weeds described. This is all. Whatever we discussed in past four verses, that's all Mahaprabhu describes as the weeds. And these are the most prominent, this and the previous one, these two. So Raghunath Das Goswami has taken it from Mahaprabhu. And if we just read that verse, we may not be able to understand the depth of how deeply um, they have kind of captured our consciousness. But only by the mercy of pure devotees like Raghunath Das Goswami and Bhakti Vinod Thakur um, that we are able to understand these anarthas. Now, um, yes, these anarthas are there within us, but the idea of having a deeper understanding is to analyze them because there is a saying, problem identified is half solved. So we are trying to identify the subtle anarthas where we can see, okay, here I am desiring respect, here I am desiring honor. And it's such a great relief to be able to identify them because now we will not justify those acts saying that this is devotional service. Now we'll identify, okay, there is a distinction. So only by the medium, that's why um, Raghunath Das Goswami says in the commentary actually, Sachidanand Maharaj says, either we can take instruction of Raghunath Das Goswami and commentary of Bhaktivinoda Thakur to rectify ourselves today, or we can wait for 30 years and then realize, oh, there were so many obstacles because of which my progress was checked. How quickly we want to make progress depends upon us. And if we are sincere, after hearing Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Raghunath Das Goswami, we will be able to understand within our heart, maybe just 2, 3 points. Okay, these things, I should work on it. Here I am desiring honor, although I am thinking there is nothing wrong in that. I'm thinking it's all right, and I have my own reasons, and those reasons look justified in the path of devotion. But the root cause is I want to be honored, I want to be respected, and I'm still acting on it in the name of devotion, and that is I'm cheating myself. I'm just prolonging myself to access deeper devotion. So this is about Swanishta devotees who are grahastas, full-time dedicated. Then there are other devotees who are parinishta devotees, who are following one ashram dharma, living outside, working, taking care of children, at the same time have their life dedicated to Krishna. They hopes to be known as devotee of Vishnu, or in other words, they desire that they want to be respected as very sincere devotees. And um, 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 we saw one picture last week where one Parinishta Grahastha Vaishnav was doing the Arati to Radha Krishna, and behind that on a table he had some book which was on sense gratification. He had a movie going on, and he had some other things. But he has his private life, but externally he has arati of Radha Krishna going on. So hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is same as deceit or cheating ourselves. Um, so because there is a desire to be honored as very nice devotees, very nice devotees. Um, as a knower of spiritual subject matters, they want to be seen as somebody who understands philosophy very nice, who can speak very nicely, who understood everything, um, and they want to be seen as, they want to be honored as one who has all the answers and who understood the science. He want to be honored. Now, it's good if we understand, but if we want to be seen as one who has understood, is a sign of being honored. And they want to show themselves as very detached. Um, they may engage in cultivating material desires, and they may externally say, प्रभु जी ये सब तो माया है, ये सब तो माया का प्रकोप है, ये सब नहीं चाहिए हमें, हमें बस भगवान का भक्ति चाहिए. They may say like that, we only want devotion, but internally they may still be cultivating material desires. That's because they want to be seen as very renounced, very renounced. So all these three um, 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 gives rise to deceit. Um, when some of these desires are unfulfilled, rest assured, desire comes to protect our prestige and sense gratification. Um, um, Sense gratification is deceit, hypocrisy, because we know that I should not be doing it, and I show that I'm not doing it, but I'm doing it. So it comes under deceit, and unfulfilled give rise to other other more grosser emotions. Then the last one is Nirapeksha Sadhaka, who is renounced order. They want to be known as spotless and renounced. They want to be seen by others. This Prabhu or this sannyasi is very renounced. He is such a simple man. Because he is a renounced order, he may want to be honored for that purpose. He may want to be seen as spotless. Spotless means pakka. Um, he may engage in some kind of sense gratification, but he want to be seen as pakka Vaishnav who never makes mistakes, spotless. Um, that's because he want to be honored as a spotless Vaishnav. It is very advanced stage for one to act in a way that I am a useless Vaishnav. Nobody want to show to others that I am a useless Vaishnav, good for nothing. We just say that, Prabhu, I am good for nothing, I am useless Vaishnav, because that brings more honor that he is Trinadopi Sunichena. But no one really internally, except those who are very advanced, really internally want to show themselves as I am a useless Vaishnav. In fact, it is seen when different kinds of devotees, when they discuss among each other, they tell them what all they are doing. I am reading, I am here, I am reading these on this part of Srimad Bhagavatam. Why? I want to be respected. We may go to spiritual master and say, Maharaj, I am doing all these things. Why? Want to be respected. If not spiritual master, some other devotees. We will try to show off. So everything is arising. Nobody wants to show themselves as useless. They just want to say that they are useless, but they want that thing also is so that others can respect us. So these devotees, they want to be seen as spotless, because if others identify how degraded I am, what will they think about me? So uh, uh, desire for fame, and then they try to hide their lower nature, and they become hypocritical. And if somehow they are exposed, they become angry, and everything else follows. Then they want to be known as a master of conclusions of Shastra. They want to be seen as somebody who has all the answers. And even if they don't know the answer, they will try to say something to um, to they don't say I don't know. They will say something to show that because they don't want to be seen as somebody who doesn't know something, because they are in renounce order, they are reading scriptures all the time, they are supposed to know everything, and then here comes a question and they don't know. So they try to cook up something, they try to say here and there, they try to act in a way that they can save their honor and prestige. Um, mm. So they want to be seen as conclusion of Shastra, and they want to be known as having a perfect understanding of devotion, as an exemplary of devotion, and they know exactly how to make progress, what to do, what mistakes. They want to show themselves as they know everything. In the science of devotion, in the science of logic, in the science of explanations, conclusions, shastras, they are spotless, pure, um, renounced, and the reason behind all these desires simply is they want to be honored. They want to be honored. So this desire of wanting to be honored is very, very deeply rooted, and it leads to double standards, being hypocritical. And we have two choices: continue life like being a hypocrite and internally cultivate desire for honor, or like very good example is Jad Bharat. Jad Bharat, Maharaj Bharat became a deer because he got attached to deer, Dear, he would hear Hari Katha. At the end of his life, he took birth in a Brahmana family. His name was Jad Bharat, and he showed himself. He posed himself as a fool number one because he remembered his previous two lives. He saw the mistakes he did, and now he wanted to hide his spiritual life, act as a fool, so that the entire society can reject him, so that he can peacefully perform his bhajan. Even his own brothers thought Jad Bharat is um, pagal insan. He's a madman. He's the most intelligent man. He knows exactly the value of life and the perfection of life, how to attain it. He is beyond the material modes and Maya's influence. Supremely sincere Vaishnav, to the fact that he even transformed the heart of the king at that time, King Rahuvana. Even when some dacoits were trying to kill Jad Bharat, Kali Devi herself appeared and cut off the heads of those dacoits and paid obeisance to Jad Bharat. So that was the spiritual position of Jad Bharat. But he was always acting as if he doesn't understand, he's dull, he's brainless. Another example of one who always posed himself as a fool genuinely is Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. He would sit in a place where, this is 400, 300 years back, no restrooms. So if they have to attend to nature's call, they will take a mug of water and go in the bushes early in the morning. So he would go and live in such places so that nobody approaches him. And he always acted as if uh, um, um, nobody should respect him. Everybody should leave him alone so that he can perform his bhajan. Many, many examples. These are like extreme examples of who are rejecting fame. But we can act in a way where fame is coming, but we are unaffected. Or we can act in a way that we are rejecting fame. Both are glorious. The common principle is same. Krishna used both of them to set two different examples. Both are pure devotees of the Lord, to show that desire to be respected and desire to fame, as long as this prostitute, dog hunting woman is dancing in our heart, to always be respected and be honored, pure love of Godhead, the Haladini Shakti, which nourishes our heart, will not even come close to us. And that's why we have to take a humble position, Das Anudas, and serve Vaishnavas. If we willingly do it, then our ego may be hurt. That's a medicine. That's a medicine. That's why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Na ham vipro na cha narapati na pi vaishno shudro na ham vani na cha grihapati na vanisto yatirva kintu prodhyam nikhila paramananda purnamritabde gopir bhartu padakamalayur das das anudasa. My only desire is I am not a grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi or brahmachari or a brahmana or a kshatriya or a vaishya or shudra. I am only servant of the maintainer of the gopis, or servant of the devotees of the Lord. And tinadapi sunichena. So until we are at least trying to act in these two principles, um, if we are not trying, then we may still be cultivating this desire for honor. Okay, let's read this.
Yeah, okay. As long as one maintains a desire for honor, pratishtha, deceit, kapatata will also remain. And until one is free from deceit, one cannot obtain the saintly people's pure love. So to the degree we are actually free from this honor, to that degree the deceit will actually leave the heart. It is the last of the enemies that we subdue. And why is it the last? Because it is the greatest obstacle.
It is the last enemy that we subdue because all other enemies arise from this. And the first paragraph, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, until we don't, I mean, when we are not taking a humble position in front of Vaishnavas and spiritual master, and if we are trying to be in front of our spiritual master and senior devotees as somebody who is of some value, then we will not receive their pure love. When we are filled of ourselves, they can sense it immediately. If we think we are somebody, then they say, all right, remain somebody. But if we go as if uh, we are completely dependent upon your mercy, then they will bestow their mercy. Um, to the degree we are actually free from this honor, to that degree deceit will actually leave the heart. Okay, okay. So this is the last story, and then we will come to the solution part. Um, very nice story of Madhavendra Puri, who Gopal came in his dream and told him, in our village in Vrindavan, nobody should go hungry. My friends have told me that you haven't eaten or drank anything. I have brought a pot of milk. And Madhavendra Puri said, how do you know? My friends and the gopis were watching every day. You always said you never went for Madhukari. Madhukari means begging. So I have come because in my village nobody goes hungry. And he took the pot, he drank. In the dream, he got a vision that that was Gopal. Um, Gopal requested him in a dream, establish a temple for me. He established a temple. Then Gopal told him, I am very hot because for 5,000 years I am in this scorching heat. Bring some sandalwood for me from Puri. All right, he went alone without any servants. On the way, he went to um, mm, Remuna, where there is a temple of Gopinath. Later on, he was called by the name Khichor Gopinath. And we know the story where Gopinath stole a pot of kheer and told the head pujari, there is Madhavendra Puri in the town. I have stolen this pot of sweet rice for him. Please go and give it to him. It was middle of a dark night, and the head pujari with tears in his eyes, because he also got some reciprocation from Gopal, because Gopal came in his dream, and um, he started running. Who is Madhavendra Puri? Who is Madhavendra Puri? Who is Madhavendra Puri? And then in one corner in the village, in dead of a night, somewhere crying, Madhavendra Puri was chanting the holy names. This head pujari came, paid his dandavats. How fortunate you are that Gopinath has stolen the pot of sweet rice for you. And he got up, he again paid obeisances, got up, again paid obeisances, got up, again paid obeisances. Madhavendra Puri became very shy that what should I do? How can I escape this situation? And with tears in his eyes, he drank the sweet rice out of loving reciprocation of Gopinath. And before the morning came, he left because he knew that if I stay here, I will be recognized as a great devotee. So it is natural. My spiritual master says how much advanced we have become is our taste to be glorified. When somebody glorifies us, it will become like a poison to us. If somebody glorifies us, we feel very uncomfortable. Um, um, because it's such a headache, actually, such a headache to be glorified. my spiritual master says when somebody glorifies, it puts so much pressure because then we have to act on that level, and we are not on that level. So it becomes even more difficult. It's just a disturbance to the consciousness, to the consciousness of I am servant of Krishna, I am servant of Srimati Radharani, and I want to serve them under guidance of my spiritual master. My spiritual master is the dearmost servant of them, and under his guidance, I want to serve them. That's the mood of a Vaishnava. But it just creates so much turmoil. And very good example of not desiring. These advanced devotees, they're not looking for these things. Whether it's Madhvendra Puri, Jad Bharat, or Gorkshar Babaji Maharaj, or any other pure Vaishnava. They run away from the hint of it. Okay, now coming to the last part of it, how can we develop love of God? Let's start reading. We'll read faster now because less remaining.
From Sadhu Prema Sprishati. Sprishati means touch. Raghunath Das Goswami says this Sadhu Prema, love of Godhead, will not even touch us. Not to mention, we will not get it. We won't even be able to touch it. We won't touch it and it will not touch us. If our consciousness is contaminated by this desire for honor, what to do?
Okay, so I'm hoping everyone is understanding, and I'll keep going forward as long as we have the desire for honor. Love of Godhead cannot even touch us, but to speak about experiencing it. What picture is there? Okay, okay, okay.
The verse says, Sadatvam Sevasva. Always serve Prabhu Daita Samantam. Pure devotees of the Lord who are Atula, pure. Then Niskashya Tvaritam, they will very quickly kick out all these impurities, and Veshayati, they will establish Sadhu Prema, that pure love.
So again the summary, when we serve pure devotees of the Lord, they will kick out this unchaste dog-eating dancing woman and quickly establish pure love of God in our heart. They will replace it, kick her out and kick Sadhu Prema inside. And as you can see in a picture, um, there is a devotee association and taking shelter of a pure devotee, and this prostitute and her paramour deceit, they started running away. A similar picture we saw calling out devotees of the Lord, devotees of killer of Baka, devotees of the Lord, and lust, anger, envy, greed, pride starts running away because they arise, they the root is desire for fame, and when the fame and deceit is running away, they will also run away. Okay, that's why I said the solution is similar, um, but different varieties of impediments. Okay, let's read this.
So, Sada Sevasva, we should always serve the devotees because serving Vaishnavas induces humility. Even if you don't have humility now, if you serve devotees, you will become humble. The serving mode, the mode of humility, is the antithesis of pride and desire for honor. It neutralizes and destroys them. Serve those who are very dear to the Lord.
So we must do it. We must do it even if we don't feel like doing it. Like um, one devotee asked this question to my spiritual master about Trinada Pisunichina, and Maharaj said, "Act enthusiastically. Even if we don't feel like doing it, do it, and it will come. It will come to us." So similar thing we hear um, um, from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he is mentioning, um, if you keep doing it, if you serve, uh, even if you don't have humility, if you serve devotees, we will get it. We will get the humility and whatever is required. The serving mood is an antithesis of pride and desire for honor. Now, naturally, we we have heard this and we know this, and we are trying to act on this principle. But when we hear from different perspectives, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur is telling, how it will help to overcome honor, and how honor is so deeply rooted, and how love of Godhead cannot come without honor, then our enthusiasm to follow the same principle that we know, which is serving with all humility, um, pure devotees of the Lord, our enthusiasm increases to follow the same principle, to follow the principle of being servant of servant, because by practicing humility and servant of servant is the only way we can get this out. But if we don't act on it, then we are certainly acting on that desire to be honored. Because when I want to be honored, I don't want to become a servant. Rather, I want everyone to become my servant, because I want to be the center of attraction, which is like I want to be Krishna. But when when somebody wants me to become servant of servant, it will pain my desire um, to be honored, because I will not be honored anymore because I'm only a servant now. Um, and that pain is very good for us, because that is paining the ego. But when I still not act in the name of no, I cannot do this, this is difficult, this and this and this and this and that, um, mm, then I am barred from receiving mercy from devotees. Then I'm not practicing it, then I'm becoming deceitful, and I will have to go through difficulties for a longer time. Um, okay, so the mood is serving mood, mood of humility. That is the antithesis of, or the medicine of pride and desire for honor, and it destroys those desires and neutralizes them. Okay, especially, and this is Krishna taking a humble position and serving Vaishnavas. In fact, we know that during the Ratsya sacrifice, Arjun and Bhima would receive the guests, and Krishna took the service of washing the feet of all the guests. Krishna took the position of being a chariot driver. Krishna is always so eager to take a humble position. In fact, in Golok Vrindavan, Krishna always takes a humble position in front of the friends, Mother Yashoda, Gopis, and Srimati Radharani. Krishna always takes a humble position. So, when everyone's spiritual world is like that, how can a person who is full of himself enter that mood where everyone is a mood of servant of servant? When all the devotees and Krishna, imagine when you meet devotees, especially those devotees who are very much willing to serve you. If everyone in the community is trying to become servant of servant, what a blissful mood is that? And that is Goloka consciousness. And only those people who are practicing it, Krishna will allow them to come in. Otherwise, they will create disturbance in Goloka. I mean, they cannot go anyways, but even they will just create disturbance. Okay, let's read this. Some more from Bhaktivinoda Thakur.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that the heart of true devotees are saturated with Ahladini Bhakti, and when we serve them, they become compassionate. The result of that compassion is they bestow their mercy on us. Bestowing mercy means that they transfer Hladini Shakti from their hearts, and the Hladini Shakti purifies all the contaminations present in one's heart. It not only purifies but also generates love, sadhu prema. The verse says this process happens immediately, Varitam. It will happen quickly, but we must do it.
Okay. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that devotee's heart There is Haladini Shakti. They are saturated with the potency of divine love of Srimati Radharani. They have Haladini Shakti. And when we serve them, they become merciful. They are pleased with us. When they are pleased with us, by their being pleased with us, this Haladini potency is immediately transferred from the heart of your devotees into our heart. And that Haladini Shakti purifies our contamination, because we understand that I cannot overcome. I may neutralize it, I may not act on it. But the thing is, I have to take shelter of pure devotees. I have to please pure devotees by my own humility and servant of servant mood. By that, Guru and Krishna will be pleased, and they will transfer that Haladini potency into my heart, by which I can go deeper in my Krishna consciousness. And it is by that deep absorption in the holy name and by that Haladini Shakti will I be purified from the contaminations in my heart. Again, we by ourselves cannot remove this contamination. Guru removes. Balram destroys all anarthas. Balram through the medium of Guru and Vaishnavas. Okay. Um, okay. Sorry. Let's read this.
This flow of spiritual potency can happen through the pure devotee's embrace, the dust from their lotus feet, and their leftover food, and their beautiful instructions.
So, principle is to attain spiritual potential, bhakti shakti, and by embrace of a pure devotees, by dust from their lotus feet, by the food left over, the remnants of a pure devotee, through their beautiful instructions. In different way, their spiritual potency can be transferred. Haladini Shakti, which can purify us. And there is this verse, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhakta Pada Dhuliyara, Bhakta Pada Jal, Bhakta Bhukta Avasishati na Mahabal. Eitina Seva Haite Krishna Prema Hai Puna Puna Sarva Shastre Fukariya Kare. Okay.
Yeah.
The dust of the feet of a devotee, the water that has washed the feet of a devotee, and the remnants of food left by a devotee are three very powerful substances. By rendering service to these three, one attains the supreme goal of ecstatic love for Krishna. In all the revealed scriptures, this is loudly declared again and again.
Bhakta Pada Dhuli, the dust of feet of a pure devotee. I know in New Vrindavan one time, 2013, I was there. And I think Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj, he gave, it was the day of appearance day of Radha Kund, 2013, if I'm right. And he gave Bhagavatam class in Krishna Balram temple. And the moment he got up, all the devotees there jumped into, when he left, they all jumped into the walking steps where he walked and took the dust from the floor and smeared it on their head. And I was a little shy to do that. Then I'm like, no, I really want to make progress. And then I also took the dust from where he walked. So devotees are very eager to take the dust from the feet of pure devotees. But we cannot take because, but when they walk, when they touch the ground, we can take that dust. But my spiritual master also says, um, taking the dust from the lotus feet of pure devotees and the lotus feet of spiritual master is following their vani, following their instructions. That is really what is um, Pad dhuli means taking dust of their foot on our head means I'm their servant. And what is the role of a servant? The servant does what he's asked to do. Imagine you hire a taxi driver who is serving you, and you tell taxi driver go to Chicago, and he takes you to um, you know um, Virginia. It doesn't work like that. So what is the role of a servant? He has to do what he's asked to do. So when we are trying to become the servant of spiritual master means we have to do what Guru asks us to do. What Guru asks us to do? Through his instructions, through his Vani. So when we actually, I asked this question recently to my spiritual master, and Mara said, Vani. First thing he said is, if you want to develop a deeper relationship with spiritual master, it was very personal. I was very enlivened by that. And he said, if you want to you want to deepen your relationship with your spiritual master, take the instructions that are given by me. Maharaj was very personal. I was very happy that Maharaj was so personal. I asked in a very general way because I didn't want Maharaj to feel shy. That Maharaj, how can I serve you? I didn't want to ask like that. So I asked in a general way, and Maharaj said, take the instructions that I am giving to you in a very personal way through my lectures. Just like how personal we are when we are talking to a devotee one on one. When we are talking to a Vaishnava one on one, and the Vaishnava says, well, why don't you try this? So we take it like very personally. It is directly given to me. And my spiritual master says, if that is your mood while hearing the class of Srila Prabhupada and our spiritual masters, then that will help deepen the relationship with spiritual master. So every lecture that we are hearing, if we are hearing with the consciousness that it is personally, with lot of love and lot of care, a personal instruction being given to me. If that is the mood of very personally taking Vani, that will help us to deepen our relationship with spiritual master. And then we try to follow. And Mara said, it is not easy. It was not easy for Arjuna to follow Krishna's instruction. It was very difficult to fight with his own grandfather and um, Bhishma Pitama and Dronacharya teacher, and his near and loved and near and dear ones. To follow that instruction was very difficult. He was very depressed. It was so difficult for him to follow this instruction, yet he did that. So he said many times following instruction of spiritual master will not be easy, especially this instruction of taking a humble position, becoming servant of servants, surrendering. These are very difficult instructions. They may be easy when things are going very nice, but they may become very difficult when things are tight. Not so. They may become difficult at times. So he removed all scope that I may use forever in my life, that right now I cannot follow this instruction of my spiritual master because XYZ. He simply removed all that scope for the rest of my life by saying that it may not be easy, follow it, follow it. So first thing we have to do in order to develop our relationship with spiritual master, take the instruction as if it is coming personally to you, as if you are having a one-on-one conversation with your spiritual master. And even if it is difficult, try to follow it. If you do that, um, you will deepen. That is actually called Bhakta Pad Dhuli, um, dust of the lotus feet of pure Vaishnavas. Bhakta Pad Dhuli are the Bhakta Pad Jal, or the water which has washed the foot of spiritual master, or pure devotees. Bhakta Bhukta Avashesha Tino Mahabhal. Bhakta Bhukta Avashesha is the remnants of food. And there's this example of Narad Muni who ate the remnants of devotees during the Chaturmas month of Bhakti Vedantas. And he said, I developed taste for hearing my sinful reactions eradicated just by eating the remnants. Okay. So again, these are all the principles of taking a humble position, Trinada Pisanichena, serving the pure devotees, either physically or through instructions. Um, Dasanudas. Let's read this.
We can purchase, okay, Suchir Sadhu Prema. We can purchase Krishna and mercy of devotees only through soft heart. Bhava and Prema can manifest only in soft heart. Only when the desire for Pratishtha is cast away does one's whole heart become softened. Otherwise, it is not possible.
So when we are acting on a platform of being honored and pride, we cannot exhibit soft heart. It will be very artificial, and pure devotees will know it immediately. But only when our heart is softened by removal of desire for honor. When we have no desire to be honored, then and when we have all desire to sada tom sarvasva, to just render menial service, when with that approach we approach um, pure devotees of the Lord, Vaishnavas in general also, any kind of Vaishnavas, when we approach with that mood that I'm not better than them, I don't deserve to be honored by them, um, but as a servant, I want to serve them. When we approach with the mood, especially senior devotees, when we approach with a mood that I want to render service for them, then we will exhibit in our tone a soft heart. It is only in a soft heart that it is only by soft heart that we can purchase the devotees um, and Krishna, and only in that soft heart can bhava and prema exhibit, as we discussed in symptoms of bhava and symptoms of prema earlier. Okay, I think this is the last slide. Okay.
Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura said, better that I am in the association of those who are pointing out my faults and helping me maintain a humble attitude than to be with those who praise me.
So very beautiful. I like it. Better I am in association of those who are pointing out my fault than those who are praising me. Recently, I met a devotee and he said, Prabhuji, I'll tell you one secret, one personal secret in my personal family life. I said, okay. And he said, every second or third day, my wife chastises me for something or the other. And I go in the other room and I pay sashtang dandavats to her. If I pay dandavats to her in front of her, then she'll feel very awkward. And then probably she may not chastise me also. I don't want that. Because when I come to temple, you all glorify me. When I go anywhere, all the devotees always glorify me. She is the only one who chastises me. Free flow, without any restrictions. So, because she is chastising me, she's the one who is actually helping me grow. I said, "Oh, great consciousness, amazing." So, Sarzai Thakur is also, I mean, he's following the footsteps of Saraswati Thakur. Saraswati Thakur is telling, better I am in association of those who are pointing out my faults and helping me maintain a humble attitude. I mean, if somebody chastises us, we feel like the earth is crashing. We feel like my whole life is waste. Very good. We are kind of taking a humble position. Imagine my spiritual master says it is more difficult to accept success than failure. If you have failure, you feel like you're useless. Your life is spoiled and waste. Very good, excellent. But if you have success all around you, then you feel like, um, actually, I am a great soul. So uh, better we are surrounded by those who are humbling us. Uh, Many times I pray, my Lord, humble me, humble me, humble me. Very good. Krishna is very merciful. Krishna humbles also. So excellent. We need to be humbled, and that's how our uh, um, false desire for honor will be kind of crashed. Okay. Oh, there is something more. Let's read this.
Thus Lord Shiva says in Padma Purana. Yes, brother, go ahead.
Thus Lord Shiva says in the Padma Purana, Aradhananam Sarvesham Vishnor Aradhanam Param Tasmat Parataram Devi Tadiyanam Samaranchanam. Of all kinds of worship, worship of Lord Vishnu is the best. Recommended more than worship of Vishnu is worship of the Vaishnava.
This is something Bhaktivinoda Thakur says every devotee should know, or every devotee should keep this in their heart, that higher than worship of Krishna is worship of devotees. That's why we have Guru Puja and we have many other forms of worship. And you see here this devotee is worshipping a devotee. He is transferring Bhakti Shakti, Haladini Shakti by his pleasure to this devotee, and the dog eating woman and her paramour, deceit, and desire for fame are running away. Okay, looks like there are some more. Keep reading, someone.
Yat sevaya bhagavata kuta stasya madhudvishaha ratiraso bhavet tivraha padayor vyasanardanaha. By serving the feet of the spiritual master, one is enabled to develop transcendental ecstasy in the service of the personality of Godhead, who is the unchangeable enemy of the Madhu demon and whose service vanquishes one's material distress.
What happens when we render service to the feet of spiritual master? One is unable to develop ecstasy. When we are sincerely following spiritual master, one develops transcendental ecstasy if you are following the instructions. Okay, and that ecstasy removes material desires. Okay, let's read.
Ever since I saw that person whose heart was filled with spiritual ecstasy, exhibited through flowing tears, erect bodily hair, stumbling and shivering, I do not know what has happened. My mind simply refuses to take interest anymore in household affairs.
So this is by Rupa Goswami. He is quoting a devotee who says that when I saw the spiritual ecstasy exhibited in a pure devotee, just by seeing that, my mind refuses to take interest anymore in household affairs. Mm, when he saw the ecstasy, um, there are many ways love for Krishna can exhibit, and one of the way love for Krishna can awaken is by seeing the ecstasy of another devotee's love for Krishna. Just by seeing that, one can awaken a love for Krishna. This is described by Rupa Goswami. Okay, okay.
Srila Rupa Goswami says in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Yavanti Bhagavad Bhaktir Angani कथितैः प्रयासतवन्ति तद्भक्ता भक्तेरपि उदविदु. Of all the limbs of bhakti that have been described here in this book, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, in relation to Lord Krishna, the intelligent consider most of them to also be applicable to Lord's devotees.
Very, very important point by Rupa Goswami. He describes 64 angas of Vedic sadhana bhakti. Hearing about Krishna, chanting or glorifying Krishna, reading Shrimad Bhagavatam or reading about Krishna, and many other, serving his lotus feet. So there are many angas described. Those same angas are intelligent devotee applied to Lord's devotees also, like hearing about pure devotees of Krishna, chanting about his glories, or serving the lotus feet, doing arati, or everything that we do to Krishna. An intelligent devotee does all apply all those principles to a pure devotee also. These are all references from scriptures quoted by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, emphasizing worship of a devotee. Because this will help us to take a humble position in the mode of servant. That will help us to receive Haladini Shakti from those Vaishnavas, from those pure devotees, and that will remove the desire for fame, which is the root cause of all other anarthas. Okay. Okay. Is there anything from anyone? Any discussion?
No.
Oh, your daughter is right in the center.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. So if no one has anything, then maybe we can end. So let's end. My obeisances to all of you. Thank you very much. Vanchakalpatarubheshya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavindu Puja. And now we will meet after Radha Ashtami. So happy Radha Ashtami to all of you.
Okay, that's
Celebrate with lot of reverence and worship. Thank you. Done with me.
Thank you, brother.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you.